Ladies and gentlemen, after a short hiatus, welcome back to Carl Carafel Exclusive. I am here joined by a man who is a long time a professional in the business of wrestling with over 18 years of experience, a high flyer, now singles wrestler coming in at 6 feet, 216 pounds from Medicine Hat, Alberta, with a signature move that is devastating as all the Michinoku driver. We are talking with the crazy mofo, Kamikaze. Brother, how are you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Thank you for having me, brother. Thank you very much for taking the time here.
Oh, of course, of course. I mean, we are all about helping out and having interviews and doing things with our friends and with professional wrestlers and really anybody. That's what we're all about here with Turnbuckle Studios and the Turnbuckle affiliation program. So I appreciate you coming on and doing this with us.
Likewise, man. Thank you for the exposure and the time. We'll have a good little time here. Let's rock and roll.
Oh, we definitely will. We're going to get to what you've recently done and how we really came to know each other in a little bit. But first things first, I want to find out a little bit more about you. And I'd like you to
Yeah.
talk to me a little bit about CMF. What is that?
Oh, yeah. All right. Yeah. Crazy Mofo is what it abbreviates to, but it's near and dear to my heart. Literally, I have it tattooed on my chest here, CMF.
Nice.
Um, it's since I was about 12 years old, from the age 12 to 17. I took matters into my own hands as an untrained teenager in my backyard during those
Mm.
days from 1999 to 2004. Yeah, CMF Wrestling, it was called Crazy Mofo Wrestling. And it had quite a following here in my hometown, Medicine Hat.
Oh,
At one
nice.
point, we had 173 people packed in my backyard, or the
Woo.
CMF Stadium, as we called it. And yeah, man, at a young age, from about 15, we started wrestling in front of people when I was about 15, 14 years old, and getting standing ovations and stuff like that. Like it's been a long journey, and I have all the video footage to back it all up too. So
Oh,
it's a
nice.
long storied history, and I decided to just incorporate it into my whole character and and who I am. It is who I am, so why fight that,
Oh, exactly. Nothing wrong with that at all. Now, going back to those days, did you have a ring? Did you make a ring or was it just strictly on the ground?
Well, it started with just a trampoline, and
Okay.
it evolved. My father, Papa Kazi, we started with just like poles in the ground and garden hose, and we'd like pretend to hit the rope. And then my dad really upped the ante, man. Like we had real steel ring poles, like a wood frame underneath. And then we started with ropes, ran through garden hose. And then after a couple of years, we graduated to steel cable, ran through garden hose. So like
Mm.
I got the whole, that's how I learned all my high flying stuff, all my balance, all my jumping around was, self taught as a teenager. And
Wow.
I credit my father. He's the creator of CMF Wrestling, as we say. The trample ring, we called it. The
The
trample ring.
trampo.
Yep.
That's awesome. Trampo ring.
Well, that's right, man.
And out of the numerous people that I've talked to who have had trampolines that they've used, I've never heard anybody call it that. So that's interesting. That's
Yeah,
new. Yeah.
might have to patent that. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
Copyright the trample ring.
Jeez. So
There's
you
lots of
go
video actually on YouTube. Actually, some highlight reels on my YouTube page of some CMF wrestling. So check that out if you like.
perfect. And that's exactly what it is. You just search out CMF wrestling.
Well, Kazi CMF for Life will be like my YouTube channel.
Okay.
And yeah, CMF Wrestling's what it's under. There's a couple tribute videos, highlight reels of on my video page there. So
Nice.
I think I'll have to post one soon because July 1st will be, yeah, July 1st, 2004 was our last CMF show we ever did.
Oh,
So it's coming up to 20 years now. And I'm going to probably post something on Instagram of a highlight reel of something of CMF wrestling related. So
nice.
yeah,
20
buddy.
years. 20
Yeah.
years. Jeez.
This has been my
That's
life, man, since I was about 12 years old.
So you've done the backyard as the majority
Most
of us
have.
have
Yeah,
done, right?
100%.
So you move forward, you're able to find yourself some trainers, and two of the ones that are credited of doing that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but we're talking Chi Cruz and Lance
True.
Storm, correct?
Lance Storm, correct. Yes, sir.
Oh,
Yeah,
what
man.
was it like working with Lance Storm?
So Lance started getting involved in Calgary, Alberta for the Prairie Wrestling Alliance. He became the booker for the PWA. That's when I first got to meet him. Well, actually, I had trained with him a little bit before. I did like a session with him years prior, but this is when we started to really get to know Lance. He was the booker in 2010, maybe 2009. And by 2012, I decided like I want to train with this guy. So he gave me a good deal. I paid like a nice price. He was very nice to me with that respect. And I trained with him for 3 months, did a whole class with him, and he polished me up, man. I thank God every day I was in that ring for being there. One of the best trainers, hands on, I've ever been with. Like just thorough, explains the reasoning behind everything you're doing. Like, and for someone that just breaks in, I kind of feel bad for them. Like it's always awesome training with Lance Storm, but like 3 months almost isn't enough time for someone that's
Hmm.
fresh. But for me, I was already in the business for 5, 6, 7 years at that point. So like it was really like a polishing process. And
Right.
I was just lucky. Like I already had a grasp on things. So the way he'd explain and teach things that just like soaked in a little better, I think, than to someone that was like completely green. And 3 months is hard to cram everything in. So
Oh yeah.
in a lot of respects, I found Lance was really good for just polishing guys up.
So in the hierarchy of things, who came first in your training? Was it Lance or was it Chi Chi?
It was Chi Cruz. Chi Cruz started
Okay.
in 2005.
Okay. And which company was that? Was he working for then where he was doing the training?
Monster Pro Wrestling out of Edmonton.
Monster Pro.
And I
Okay.
moved to Edmonton. Actually, I lied about my age. I was only 17. I had 2 matches before I graduated or even had my diploma coming straight out of
Oh,
CMF. Um, and then from that point, I was told I need to get trained, which I knew I did. I had took
right.
like a Greyhound bus from Medicine Hat to Edmonton. It was like a 12-hour trip, I remember. And yeah, so I went to college for a year and then decided, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And I saved some money up. I was a dishwasher at Houston Pizza and moved back to Edmonton after a year. And Cheech was there. I was in the right place, right time. I lived with Cheech, Massive Damage, and a couple others, trainees in a house. And right place, right time. I went from the backyard to back in the backyard because the ring was in the backyard. So like it was like full circle, one backyard to
Oh,
another, basically. But
wow.
that's what I learned from Cheech. I was a
Nice.
construction worker and I would work like 12-hour days, 6, 7 days a week.
Hmm.
And I'd get off like a 12-hour day. I didn't have a car yet. I'd ride my bike from like these job sites and training would already be in progress by the time I got home. And I'd just hop right in the ring, just dirty, covered in mud and dirt from water and sewer working in Edmonton. And I just go from work to a different type of work, and start learning from Cheech. It was a hell of a journey, man. Crazy journey.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like it is. I mean, going from okay, so construction work, sure, it might be somebody's passion, it might be something that somebody enjoys doing,
Sure.
but then to have that understanding that hey, when I'm done this job, I
Yeah.
get to go and do a job that I love
Right.
is a
Yeah.
whole different feeling, man.
It was crazy, man. Those days in Edmonton, like I was such a greenhorn, not just in wrestling, but in life. Like I came from little small town Medicine Hat.
Right.
Just I had a driver's license, but hadn't started really driving a vehicle yet. I was taking public transit, riding bikes around. I had my bike stolen like 3 times in
Jeez.
Edmonton. Uh, but yeah, I'd do the construction gig. I'd come home, I'd train in the ring for like 2 hours. Then I'd have to hop on a bus and go to the gym. And by then it's like 7, 8, 9 o'clock in the evening. The buses stopped running. I remember by like 11 or something at that time. So like you have to cut in a quick workout after construction work, wrestling training, gym. And a lot of times like the buses would stop running and I'd be like stranded and have to like walk home from the gym. Like it was a crazy process, man. A lot of dues being paid when I broke in for sure. Long
Jeez.
days,
Did you
long
have
days.
time to sleep or eat at all?
Oh man, that was another thing. Like you know, up at 7 a.m. to start the construction job. Like, no, like I didn't get to sleep a whole lot, to be honest. I remember, yeah, man, like my dreams would always consist of either like the construction job, like I just, I'd be on the job site for 12 hours, then I'd go to bed, and I'd be dreaming about construction. Like I just couldn't get away from it in a lot of respects. Like it
Right.
was a crazy time, man, a crazy time.
So now going through doing your training with Chi Chi, I wanna get a little deeper into
Yeah,
that. So I know that Chi Chi would have helped you, not necessarily hone in on everything like Lance did, but really teach you the basics of things. And
yes.
during that time, and I know it's a lot different nowadays than it was back then. When you were
Yeah.
training with Chi Chi, did they teach you anything about proper diets?
I would have to say I'll give a lot of credit to Sean Dunster. Massive damage when
Okay.
it came to the gym and physical fitness. Cheech controlled like the in-ring psychology, the work, the whole fundamentals and how to break everything down, how to do things. But Massive was the one I have to give credit to for just like working out and having to look like an athlete, building like a suit of armor of body, muscle on your body to absorb the punishment that we put ourselves through. I
Right.
credit at Massive Damage Sean Dunster for the gym, absolutely. And I was a
Nice.
skinny kid, man. I was like 153 pounds when I started, and I remember it having like trouble putting on weight. I started getting the mass building protein shakes. Actually, my trick was I'd have craft dinner, ground beef mixed together, and then mass builder protein shakes. And I would have like 3 or 4 mass builders a day. And
Oh,
I remember a bodybuilder at the gym was like, "That's a lot of calories, kid. Like that's insane." But like it helped. Like I was finally after that starting to put on weight after that. But it was a process, man. Like everything. Cheech told me some great advice. Rome wasn't built in a day. You know.
right. No, definitely not. So I know that you've worked for a number of different companies in between like 2004 and 2010 type of area. We're looking at Monster Pro. We're looking at Real Canadian Wrestling. We are looking at Prairie Wrestling Association. But there's one in there come 2010 that I see
Yes.
that I'm curious about. How did you get to be part of the National Wrestling Alliance?
Oh, that's a cool little story, man. So they had like a super show in British Columbia. Uh oh, I forget the name of it now. It's that one town that like leads up to like the roads in Antarctica or the Northwest Territories, I think it is.
Okay.
I forget what the hell it's called now, but it was cool. David Marquez was the promoter. I got to meet him. They brought in Viscera. They brought in Kevin Nash. It was a big show, man. That was the first crowd I ever wrestled in front of. It was like over 1,000 people in a big arena. It was really, really neat. Cool experience.
Wow. So
Yeah,
was
National Wrestling Alliance. Yeah.
that was if I'm finding my stuff correctly, that was the Bridgeview Hall in Surrey.
No, actually,
Okay.
it I forget it. It's on the tip of my tongue. I forget the name of the place now. I'm sorry. I'm
No,
going to blank. I
no.
get hit too many times in the head sometimes. I guess my memory isn't the best.
Not it's definitely okay at all. So the one that I had found dealing with the NWA was kind of it was ECCW
Yeah.
unsanctioned, right?
Yep.
And you actually had a tag team match that night, the NWA for the NWA ECCW Tag Team Championships.
Right.
You had the Egos and Icons, Jamie Diaz and Nick Price taking
Yes.
on, they were the champions at the time, taking on yourself and Dan Myers. Do you remember
Correct.
anything about that?
Yeah, that was my debut for ECCW actually, and I was just excited to get out somewhere different into BC and stuff like that. Like I did that NWA Super Show before, but this is like my second time out there, and it's just always good to get out of your bubble. You know, just get. You don't want to be a big fish in a small pond. That's a no-no. You want to get
Right.
out, work with different opponents, and learn and work with different guys that are better than you, and just different surroundings, different crowds, different audiences, fans. You know, so I was very thankful. And plus, what a beautiful drive out that way. Like British Columbia is
Mm.
beautiful.
I have never really been out that way. Alberta is about the furthest that I've gone. I've been
Okay.
to Edmonton.
Nice E town.
So yeah. Oh yeah. Edmonton was absolutely beautiful. I've only been there once. It
Okay,
was for a weekend, but I absolutely loved it.
nice. Actually, on a side note, I remember going out for that ECCW shot. All the guys that were going out that way were from Calgary, and I was still living in Edmonton. So I had like a 2.5 hour trip to Calgary first, and then we did like a 12-hour trip on top of that. So like it was
Oof.
still rough. Like especially Western Central Canada, we'd put in some long drives, man. But everyone did like 12 hours. I ended up doing like 14 or 16 hours, but it was worth it. It was fun.
It definitely is worth it. I mean, especially when so you're getting to do these travels, you're getting to do this work, you're getting to drive with other people and really build those bonds and be able to learn from one
Oh yeah,
another during those
yep,
times as well.
100%. Yeah, you learn the
Yeah.
most actually on the road, especially when you got some good veterans in the car. Like I was lucky. We just did this tour with D'Lo Brown and got to ride with him a lot, and rode
Mm-hmm.
with Savio Vega a lot, and like Shane Douglas. Like, how could you not learn and get better listening to these guys and all the
Right.
stories? My goodness, the stories are amazing. Like, just a kid in a candy store listening to these guys, man. Just
And they are legends when it comes
legend,
to the business, right?
100%.
There's another legendary name that's out there that I know that you did a little bit of work with, maybe not necessarily with these people, but for a company called the Heart Legacy Wrestling.
Right? Yes, correct.
Now, I know that there was only a handful of matches that were actually done with them, but what can you tell me about the Heart Legacy?
So that was ran by promoter Stacy Angel. I believe she's out of the business now. There was some shady doings a little bit with the pay and stuff like that, but the experience was just amazing. Like all the names and stars she brought in for those shows, I was thankful to be a part of it, thankful to be considered and booked. But yeah, like I got to work with Sami Zayn, El Generico in his
Mm-hmm.
last independent wrestling appearance before he got signed to NXT. Jack Evans, Harry Smith, Trent Beretta, Kalisto, uh, Brian Cage, the Young Bucks were on the show too. Like it was just a star-studded cast of characters. Kevin Nash, Bobby Lashley. There's a lot of stars in that locker room, man.
And that's
Chris
why I
Master.
wanted to bring that up because that's absolutely amazing. And it goes back to what we've said before many times on our show. You need to be going and checking out your independent professional wrestling
Right?
because you never know who you're going to be seeing on your national television
Right.
next.
The future stars of tomorrow, man. That's where a lot of them, the majority of them are molded and shaped and sink their teeth into and get their feet wet is on the independent wrestling level. So
It is. It is. It's gorgeous. It's very, very nice to be able to see stuff like that happening. Um, it's fitting, right? I mean, you've got these guys that are busting themselves,
right.
literally busting themselves, and then you see them on your television screen, and you can sit back and go, I've seen them before they
Yeah.
were so and so.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it's again full circle type of thing, like you had talked about before. That's what it is for a lot of fans, and it's nice. It's nice.
Oh yeah, it's a beautiful thing, 100%, man. It's that old rule too. It's like you want to treat everyone good on the way up because on the way down you see the same people, and that's where that independent wrestling level comes down. On your way down, you get back to the independence and like
Mm-hmm.
it's a full circle thing, man. It's where the stars of tomorrow are molded and shaped, and then the ones that have made their money, they end up back on the independents making appearances. So it's a full circle effect.
Yeah, 100% it is. I want to move a little to 2013 and 2014 here, where
Sure.
you worked a lot with high impact wrestling.
Yeah.
Yes.
HIW was a lot of fun, man. That was one of the funnest promotions I got to work for sure.
And it seems like it would be because of the amount of work that you did for them. There's not, I mean, there's a lot of work that you did for High Impact, but not as much for other companies, even going from the beginning till then. So, what made HIW that much more appealing to you?
Well, they had TV, and we started getting to work and learn how to work TV wrestling, that TV style, working the hard cams and the roaming cameras and stuff like that. And I sunk my teeth into that. It was something I needed to learn, something everyone needs to learn. But like, I just won over the promoter, King Cash. Like, I made my debut there at one of their big shows, Spring Meltdown, and I had a lot of family in Regina. I was able to move and sell a lot of tickets, and I made a lot of new fans when I was out there. And yeah, Cash loved me. I loved him and his family, and it was a great relationship. I have nothing but good things to say about Cash. He treated me like gold out there, man, and I'll never forget that time out there. It was some of the funnest times I've had out there in wrestling for sure in Saskatchewan.
I've heard that from a lot of people as well. That HIW is one of the um, best places that they have gone to work because of professionalism of
Yeah,
the business. So
100%,
yeah,
100%, man.
we come to a little bit of a low point. We're looking at 2017 to
Mm-hmm.
2022. Can you explain a little bit about the gap in your actual wrestling career?
Yeah, man. Well, so in 2012, I was involved. I was in a relationship with Maris Billington, who's the Dynamite Kid's daughter, younger daughter. There's Bronwyn as well. Maris was a little younger, and we were in a relationship for almost 3 years. And yeah, when things went south, I kind of lost my mind, man. Like she made me feel really guilty for being a wrestler and stuff like that. And
Mm.
I wanted to get her back, and I kind of gave up on myself. And none of it all worked out in the end. And I kind of just gave up on myself, man, and over a woman. I'm sad to say, but that's my heart was entwined with her, and but things happen for a reason. And
Yeah.
yeah, so I was out for 7 years, man, from 2016 to 2023, I think it was.
Yep. 2023 was when it shows that you came back in. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? In a lot of respects, though, everything happens for a reason. And I look at that time in the wrestling business, and I see like the Young Bucks are killing the business. You got Joey Ryan flipping guys with his penis, his dick.
Right. Yep.
I don't know if I'm allowed to swear or not. Sorry,
Yeah, it's
but
okay. It's okay. Yeah.
I don't know. Like I found the business got dragged through the mud in a lot of respects by a lot of guys,
Right.
and kind of hoarded out. And I'm kind of lucky looking back that I wasn't involved in any of that because that's not what I represent. And I'd be embarrassed to be around and tell someone I'm a professional wrestler, and then they see like a Joey Ryan video and that's what you do. It's like, no, that's not what I
No.
do at all. Uh, a lot of these guys made a mockery of this, and it's a little unforgivable in my books. But I think we're having a good turnaround now. I think wrestling's really making a good comeback here. Nice, strong comeback. And I'm in the right place, right time, I think, now.
I think you definitely are. We have got just over 8 minutes left on this
Oh,
recording that Zoom allows us. We will definitely be having you back on for
oh, I'd love
sure.
to, man.
There's so many more stories that we can
Oh,
tell.
you know it. There is plenty, plenty.
There is a little segment that we like to do here that we call a telltale confession. So I'm going to share this with you, and I just want you to explain this photo if you can.
Okay. Oh, yeah. The Brothers in Flight, Monster Pro Wrestling Tag Team Champions. What a great human being Eclipse, my old tag team partner, was. We used to both wear masks. I wore a mask for 5 years, and Eclipse is transformed into other characters that I'm not allowed to talk about. It's mysterious. You can't give away his identity.
Yeah.
But what a great time. A true brother, a true friend, someone you can truly trust. You have a lot of acquaintances in this profession and not a whole lot of friends, but he's definitely a true friend. Eclipse.
Amazing. Kamikaze, it is so good to catch up with you. The next time that we talk, we definitely are going to be bringing up a lot with Canadian wrestling's elite that you
Oh,
have
yeah.
done a lot of work with since 2023. We're looking over 50 matches with Canadian wrestling's elite. just in last year and this year
Yes,
alone.
sir. Yes, sir. I will say, since I came back with a vengeance after those 7 years. I went straight to the UK, wrestled there, banged out 70 matches in 7 months, came back to Canada, banged out over 70 matches. In 1 year's time, I'm at like over 150 matches. So I'm back with a vengeance, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here backflipping and ass kicking. Woo!
Give everybody your socials. Where can the people follow you and follow this resurgence journey that you're on?
All right. So youtube.com/Kaze CMF for life, KAZE CMF, the number 4 life. And then Instagram as well. It's at Kaze CMF for life.
I
That's
will
my
make
only two I
sure
got. I keep it simple.
it's good. It's good. I will make sure that I have those linked down below
Thank you,
as
sir.
well for everyone to
Appreciate
make
that.
it super easy for them.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for
Appreciate you.
coming in. And I'm gonna end this with something that you might not have maybe expected, but my
Oh, okay.
brother, God bless you.
God bless you, sir.
God is
Thank you.
good. God is
God
great.
is
And
good.
I'm glad that we were able to connect and even share this little moment praising
Oh,
God.
uh, yes. We would be nothing without the creator above. I give all my thanks to who I am as a person, my talents, my gifts, my abilities.
Mhm.
Life itself would be nothing without the good Lord above. And I'm beautiful you brought that up. Thank you so much for that.
Of
God bless
course.
you.
And you as well, my friend.